All right, Sean Zattel, FightHype.com, here with Taylor Berry, the part of Team Parker and now Team Vianello. What other teams, Taylor?
Team Salamov, Umar Salamov. We're fighting September 19 in Chechnya for the #1 position with the WBO, and we're also in talks to fight Dmitry Bivol in December on Matchroom USA card for the WBA light heavyweight title. So it's exciting times for the team and all of our fighters.
So should Samalov win, he gets to
we get the #1 position with the WBO, and
that secures a shot at Bivol.
Yeah, he's
WBA.
Yeah, he's a WBA, but it lines us up quite nicely. Puts us in a really good position for all the belts of, potentially whatever comes next. But we're in talks with Bivol for a December showdown in America.
Now, I've come down to the gym a lot, and you've always been your father's right-hand man and training many fighters, but this is a fight where you're going overseas on your own to be the head trainer, isn't that right?
Yeah, well, we've got a few guys fighting on the night. We've got Aslanbek Idigov, he's a 17-0 super middleweight. He's defending his IBF and WBO European titles, which lines him up really high as well in the rankings. So I'll be working his corner as his head trainer, and also Umar Salamov. Exciting times. It's a busy time in our gym. We got Guido next weekend on the Tyson Fury card. We've also got Joe fighting Dereck Chisora at the O2 in London, October 26th. So it's busy time. So yeah, off to Russia. I'm excited for the opportunity to see the culture over there. It'll be good.
Yeah, the sweat is still fresh on your head just now from working with Guido, right?
Yeah, just did a good 8 rounds with Guido.
And but just before we get into these fights, Chisora and some other heavyweight fights, I'd love to see what you think about. You've grown up in this sport alongside your dad the whole time, right? So isn't this a little bit of a culmination for you?
It's normal for me. I grew up with fighters living at my house when I was 2, 3, 4 years old. I had the great David Tua. IBF featherweight world champion, Robbie Peterson from Australia. So it's normal. I've had fighters in my house my whole life, and it's exciting and it's fun. You build a chemistry with fighters, and when the chemistry is right, it makes them perform right. So it's a good time.
Did Peden stay at your house ahead of his fight with Barrera, Marco Antonio Barrera?
No, that was a little later on. A little later on. Yeah.
Okay. So, but to get to Joe Parker, he's fighting Dereck Chisora. Chisora comes all out to fight. Someone usually gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Do you feel your guy gets a good something of a highlight reel knockout against Dereck Chisora in October?
Stylistically, it's a really good fight for Joe. Joe's a very intelligent fighter. Uses his feet very well. He's got incredible hand speed. I think it's a fight that Joe's wanted for a long time. We actually offered Chisora a fight with Joe back in 2015 to come to New Zealand and fight Joe. He had some visa issues getting in the country, so it didn't work out. I think this is a fight where Joe gets a bit more respect. Dereck Chisora's coming off a good knockout win over Artur Spilka. I think Joe's more intelligent. Chisora's kind of style is quite rugged, come forward. He likes to get stuck in a brawl, and that's his only chance of winning. Joe's been on that high level for a long time now, and he knows when to come in and fight, and he knows what to use, get off his back foot, counter, etc. So I think it's a good performance off Joe. I think stylistically it's almost perfect for us.
Do you think your guy, Joe Parker, being that, look what Ruiz has done, a guy Joe beat to become champion, do you think the public, the boxing pundits have maybe overlooked the talent that Joe has still at 27? Or
Joe's a baby in the sport. You look at all the top guys in the division, all in their 30s, with the exception of Andy Ruiz, who's 29. But we beat Ruiz in a very close fight. Joe's a very skilled heavyweight. There's been a couple performances where people have said, he's got to change this, change that. But they don't know what we were battling. Joe's had some serious elbow surgeries that are, behind us now, and the best is yet to come. He's developing. He's becoming more of a professional. It used to be 8 weeks in camp, and that was all the training he would do. Now he knows that he has to stay fit, stay ready for the opportunities like what Andy Ruiz has just done.
Because it feels like if you were to poll the boxing writers and all that, Joe Parker wouldn't come up in the top 3 of guys they feel could really become heavyweight champion, unify all the belts. But why do you feel that's incorrect? This guy could still become the real king of the division.
He could. It's all up to Joe, really. It's how disciplined he wants to be, and if he follows our game plans and gets the wins, But yeah, you look at the triangle of fighters. You've got Deontay Wilder is the biggest puncher in my opinion of all time. You got Tyson Fury, the lineal champion, then you got Andy Ruiz and Joshua. You know, so it's a big triangle. I think other than the champions, Joe's that next guy in line. You know, I think God willing, everything goes well against Chisora. You know, we're on to the next big fight. You know, Joe would have no problems fighting Kubrat Pulev, Povetkin, any of those next level kind of tier guys to get a world title fight. Joe would have no problem.
So a rematch with Dillian White, yeah, Kubrat Pulev, that sounds pretty good.
We would love to fight White again as long as he's clear.
Right.
You know, there's talks of him having suspension or this and that, whatever it is, but we would love him next.
Well, mentioning one of them top guys, Fury, fights here in Vegas next weekend.
Yeah.
What do you think of Otto Whelan, his opponent? I know.
I think it's incredible the amount of money Tyson's getting paid to fight these guys. I love it. You know, I wish it could happen with us. But I like Tyson. He's a good guy. You know, he's huge for the sport of boxing. He's brought a lot of character and life back in the division. I think it's a good moving fight for Tyson. You know, the longer he has and the more time he spends in camp is only going to help him in a rematch with Deontay. So yeah, I think it's good. You know, it's good opponents to look good against, just like what Swartz was. And then, you know, I hear there's talks he might fight in December. I don't think so, but yeah, I think it's great. Great opponent for him.
Right, and he looked great last fight. And it's not to pick on Whelan, but it's just find it interesting that you know, people, myself included, you look at a 20-0 record, you looked at Schwartz 25-0, and you know, this guy must be fairly but
obviously he's got to have a tiny bit of boxing ability to be 20-0. It's impressive no matter who you fight. But you know, you look at that top tier of guys, like, you know, coming off a very close draw decision with Deontay and unthroning Vladimir Klitschko, and you know, I think he's the number one heavyweight in the world, him and Deontay.
Have you ever seen Joe and Tyson Fury spar?
I have not. We've had Tyson in the gym. He's a great guy. Him and Joe are very close. You know, it's stylistically, he's a hell of a handful for anyone.
Just while we're on that, just speed. Do you think Joe's speed matches Tyson, or one guy is a little superior to the other? Hand speed?
I think, without any bias, like being biased, because you know I work with Joe, I think Joe's got the fastest hands in heavyweight boxing. I have to say that, the way he throws his combinations. But for Tyson to be 6'9", move, switch, orthodox, southpaw, I think he's one of a million. You know, it's one of a century fighter. But I think Joe's got fast hands.
Do you think we definitely get to the rematch, Wilder and Fury? Is there any chance Wilder gets that Ortiz throws it all off, or?
I don't know. You know, I think everyone rises to that one fight in their careers, and I think Ortiz rose to that fight and then obviously got clipped.
Right.
And I know he had Deontay in trouble, but I think Deontay is a much more improved fighter. We looked at him against Brazil. He looked spectacular. I don't think Ortiz will give him much trouble if the rematch happens. Stylistically, I don't know why they would fight. You know, you should be fighting. Yeah, I'm not even getting into it, but yeah.
Is there you know, asking you about Wilder, I know you're cool with Wilder, and you've studied him as well, obviously, in case Joe ever has to fight him.
Well, we had Izzy going to fight Brazil for that. It was going to be for that mandatory position back in that time, and yeah, so we were eyeing up Wilder. Wilder's a good friend of mine. He's, you know, really, really nice, respectful guy. So I kind of didn't want, you know, you don't want your guy to fight Wilder, you know, because he carries that power from the first round to the 12th round. His boxing abilities, you know, he shows good skill here and there, but he's not great. He's not very technical. But if you get hit with that right hand and put any man down.
Is there any chance with Wilder? Everyone knows about the power, and I get it. He, you know, technically no one loves what he does, but is there any chance we underestimate his athleticism, his speed?
Yeah,
is it not just
athletic?
Yeah,
very athletic. 6'7", moves really well. He jumps from that side-to-side angle and lands that right hand. You know, I think he's a fighter that's a bit like Lennox Lewis. In his time, he never really got that real recognition. I think he's going to be the exact same. You know, no one's appreciating what he really brings. You know, he's that American fighter that's knocking everyone out that they put in front of him, and the fans are just saying, "Oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy?" I think it's great.
So not stylistically, but in terms of when he retires afterwards, he'll get the respect.
That's when I think he'll get the respect, when it's all said and done. Yeah.
Then they'll say he's one of the best punchers of all time.
I think he's the all-time biggest puncher. He's knocked down every man he's fought, especially including Tyson Fury.
I mean, when he hit Brazil upside the head with a right. It looked like he shot him.
And we knew how durable he was. You know, I knew how durable Brazil was, having him fight Izzy Ugonna, who's very explosive, hard-hitting as well, and obviously carried AJ 7 rounds. You know, and to be able to do that in the first round's pretty damn impressive.
It looked like a shotgun, like literally a shotgun. Yeah,
a lot of bad blood there, but a lot of respect after. Deontay is one of those guys. You know, he'll build a fight really nice, but then mad respect after a fight.
Well, isn't it a little sad when a guy like Brazil deletes his account? Don't you almost want to tell him, you got nothing to be ashamed of, man. You fought a killer.
World champion,
yeah, you know,
world champion.
You would still kick 99% of the world's ass.
I think it was more on the lines of protecting what his family were reading and things on that lines. Like he's got kids and his wife would have an Instagram and, you know, so on.
Because I thought that was sad if it was something where he felt ashamed. It's like, you got nothing to be ashamed of, right? You know.
He talked the talk, but didn't walk the walk. I know Brazil. Like I've had friends that come into my gym and that have gone down there and sparred him, and I've heard obviously a lot of things, and I heard things before that last fight, and yeah.
And I know it's getting hot out here, but what about, like your father asked me to tell you instead, what about Logan Paul versus KSI 2? What do you think of that?
I think it's cool. I think YouTubers with a following, you know, they've got that big platform now, like millions and millions of followers. Now they're turning it into boxing. They see the excitement into boxing, the money you can make. I know the show's, I think, November 9, LA, Staples Center, DAZN,
yep.
live on DAZN. There you go, Eddie. Nah. I think it's great for boxing. I think those types of guys, you know, I know they had that fight over in the UK and it was close, amateur fight, so this fight would be 10-ounce gloves.
Exciting fight.
No headgear. Yeah, I'll be there for sure. I think it's cool. I like Logan Paul. I think, you know, he's a bigger guy. He's a little bit, I watch his videos here and there. Come see me, come see the gym. But yeah, I think it's great.
All jokes aside, was it me or they weren't that bad?
No,
you know, like
I think
they kicked most people's ass.
Yeah, I think they trained them, prepared properly for it because, you know, their names are on the line.
Right.
You know, when you've got a fan base of their size, like you can't go in and embarrass yourself. But yeah, I think the rematch would be better. Both guys would have figured out each other a little bit, felt each other's pop, and etc. And obviously Eddie Hearn sees something in it because he's
subscribers.
He's putting it on DAZN. So no, it's good.
Subscribers, but
hey, well, it's all the business.
Yeah,
play the game.
Is that and just to close on that? Is it in any way good for boxing?
DAZN?
No, not DAZN. The fight, this kind of fight, Logan Paul. Do you think boxing benefits in any way?
Yeah, I think boxing opens up more. I think you see, like, you know, YouTubers doing it. I think it's going to become more common. You're seeing basketball players, football players, maybe some actors here and there want to come out and start competing because boxing's the best sport in the world. You know, and you see all these athletes and professional athletes in other sports always training boxing. I think, you know, why not?